Hi everybody. I am here to talk about a subject that's very close to me. That is autism and parenting today. For that, I'm going to invite two very special, kind, amazing parents in just a little bit. But before that, I'm going to quickly talk a little bit about autism. I studied the subject a long time ago. I spent all my adult life in this subject. It's a deeply complex subject. Hi Rishan. We're gonna have the parents join in a minute. But basically, autism is very difficult to understand and to even know from a bird's eye view. Sometimes the more proximity you gain in the subject intellectually and directly, the more absorbed you get, the more sense the subject starts to make and directionality it starts to take intellectually, and in terms of the life track that autism is going to go into. Today, as of 2023, 1 out of every 36 8-year-olds holds a autism diagnosis in the United States of America, and that's why I think this is a very important conversation to have. I know what I know from the educational work that I've done in the subject for the last many years, but today I'm going to call two very special people to come and join us on this live. Ashiish Patil and Kreeti Bhatia, parents, kind souls, rock stars, who are going to talk about their journey in this subject. Autism is the highest rising number on the DSM-5 today, which makes it very difficult to not have it's very important that we have multiple conversations about this subject as much as possible. Flood our spaces with this conversation, because the more we talk, the more we'll know, the more we'll understand, including me. So on that note, I am going to invite our parents, and I'm going to post this video in a minute, like after we're done with this. So whoever can't join live is going to be able to the special. Give me a second.
I have seen it.
Hi, give me a second. I'm just gonna try and get Kreeti. Give me a second. What was her handle? The special mom. Sorry. I can't see it. Hi Ashiish, can you see?
I can see you, and I can.
Can you see if you can add Kreeti? I somehow can't seem to access.
No, I don't think I'll be able to, because it's your life. So
yeah,
I don't know if you have to make a request. If you want to text her and tell her to, add you,
maybe
she'll have to make a request. Then you'll have to accept that. So if you want to ping her,
just text her.
The joys of technology.
Yeah, the joys of technology. I'm always like fumbling with it. Sorry everybody, we'll start in exactly 30 seconds as soon as I figure out a way to.
Meanwhile, I can see one of Rishan's classmates saying hi.
Oh, hi.
So hi Akshara, if you can.
Awesome.
Hello Akshara.
Somehow I think the live isn't activated. I don't know. I can't seem to find her.
It's the special place mom 2 or something like that.
Yeah, everybody with the T and S is popping up except for her.
You want to ask her to find you, and I'm sure she's trying to do that. Yeah.
Okay, Ashiish, do you wanna quickly start with introducing yourself till I figure out how to. Hi everybody who's been able to. So many people are joining us live. This is great. I'll also post it so whoever misses, we'll have it. Ashiish, do you want to start with introducing till I figure out how to get.
Sure. So, I think the most important part of my introduction is I'm now better known as Rishan's dad, which is great.
Fabulous.
the rock star that Rishan is. So I'm known
Yeah.
as Rishan's dad now. And otherwise, if at all, my background is, you know, my parents, my dad was Maharashtrian, mom was Gujarati, so it's always been a nice, rich, multicultural family of sorts.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
married to a Gujarati, so home continues to be really interesting and multicultural, which is great. So I have the best of both worlds, the spicy and sweet, which kind of comes together. In terms of work, my background has been I used to be a copywriter in advertising. I did strategy and account planning for about 5 years at Lintas,
Yeah.
and then switched to join MTV. I ran MTV for about 12 years. Then the movie bug bit me, so I was at YRF running the talent vertical and the youth films vertical for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
I went independent about 4 years back. So I am older than I look,
Yeah.
and I'm a writer, producer, director, autism dad, and interestingly, I'm a late diagnosed autistic myself. And
I
Rishan
love
keeps
that.
life fun and interesting. And now, of course, I'm most excited that I've turned into a published author. So,
This is the
so
best place to
that's
promote your book, so go for
yes,
it.
shameless
Yeah. Yeah.
plug all the way. Buy it on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I see. Accept. All right,
Yes.
and that's
Done
perfect
that.
timing because now we also have Kreeti joining us. Thank you. That was just amazing. It's so exciting. Hi. How are you? So
Hello,
good to
good
have you.
evening.
Good evening. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
We're great. Ashish actually just introduced himself. So we're ready for you to introduce yourself. And whoever's going to watch this is just, I'm sure, just curious to hear about your lives and your journey because I talk a lot on my handle. So this is your time. So over to you, Kreeti.
Thank you. Thank you. Firstly, Ashish, hello, good evening.
Hello.
It's so good to meet you finally. And
Likewise.
of course, Devangana as well. We've been in conversation for the longest period of time, thinking, I don't know from where all that we went from one point to the other. There
I
was
know.
there was actually no connection between our A and our B.
I know.
It was going everywhere.
I know.
Everything was going everywhere.
I know.
Um, Thank you for this opportunity. I personally love to have conversations around not so much about autism because I'm not an autism specialist, but yes, about the parenthood and, of course, the motherhood which comes with it. Hi, everybody whosoever's watching us and who will be watching us later. My name is Kriti. I am mother of two. My elder one is 13 and he has autism. And all thanks to him, all hail, glory, and everything, hallelujah to autism that I was set out on a path. I found the purpose of my life where I actually decided that I will do everything and anything to bring peace of mind to the parents and the caregivers associated with any kind of special need person because and especially the mother because I myself is a mother and I have strongly felt that the mother is often the one who's neglected because great things are expected of her, but then again nobody's turning around and asking her how is she feeling or how her day was. Um, so that was the itch, that was the motivation that threw me into this path of mine. So the special mom was born, and we are primarily working out of Facebook. That's where we started our journey from. Now we have mushroomed into, of course, Instagram and, of course, all the necessary evils that you have on social media.
Yeah.
We are on Instagram, we are on LinkedIn. We are planning to conquer Threads as well, but I'm yet to figure out what it is all about. And so and we keep doing programs. Our programs are specifically online because majority of our programs and professionals and everything came together when this world was reeling under COVID. That's when the world actually shrunk for us, and we all of a sudden had such amazing professionals and parents and families all across this world who came across on this platform to talk about their journey, to talk about little nitty-gritty topics. And the best thing that the special mom do is that we always break those topics down to smaller bite-sized topics so
Yeah.
that it is easier for the end user to understand, and not only to understand, to implement as well.
That's
So
right. That's right. That's
That's
amazing. That's
about
amazing.
it.
Hi, everybody who's joining. I'm so glad you're a part of this conversation because it's just such an interesting subject, and from a parent's point of view to hear about. And Preeti, to your point, and Ashish, to your point, I just feel like democracy is built through social media. So I'm so glad as parents, as self-diagnosed on the spectrum of autism, you are like recently diagnosed on the spectrum of autism, you're like blasting social media everywhere. I love that. It just makes me really happy. So we've kind of like introduction of the both of you, and I think we'll talk more, and the more we get to know you, the more we'll build into your introduction. But first, Kreeti, you, and then Ashish, you, if you could talk about when your child was diagnosed on the spectrum of autism, what was it like to receive that diagnosis? What were the first few years like? And Ashish, for you, I'd love for you to actually talk about your child, Rishan, but also yourself at such a
Sure.
late stage getting diagnosed. So I'd love to hear both of those. And yeah, over to you. Let's start with you, Preeti.
So, Ashish, first of all, many congratulations for the diagnosis. You know, you're amongst a few now who have the answer to their own selves. You know,
मैं
the
ऐसा क्यों
people who
हूँ?
keep exactly. I think that is what everything boils down to. Once you turn 30 plus, the only thing that actually keeps bothering you is why am I like this? Why am I not able to accept that, or why am I not able to do certain thing or something? But hats off, dude. Please, lots of love and many congratulations to you. I'm so proud of you. Honestly, I'm so proud of you. And okay, about my journey, my son got diagnosed when he was 18 months old, and of course, he had what you call is a regressive autism. He has attained all his milestones, but then one after the other, he started losing all of them. The first thing that he lost was his speech. And at that very moment, I became a mother again. Two of my kids, they're 18 months apart. And when my younger one was born, my older one was getting diagnosed. And as usual, like any Gharelu Mata, I took everything on me. Oh God, I should not have decided to have another baby so soon. Probably that's what has taken a setback on him and anything. But thanks to his pediatrician, we were directed to the right kind of professional. And that's when the professional said he used some words जो मेरे लिए ग्रीक हीरोग्राफिक से भी बहुत ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स थे. He wrote these words on the white paper उसका prescription में PDD-NOS.
Yeah.
And I and my husband, we were looking at each other and we were like, hello, what is this? Then he was like, oh, this is pervasive development disorder, not other specified. I was like, okay, English, please. We are not Greek. We are not able to understand what you're saying. Then he said, then he threw another word at us. That was autism. And I'm an English major and I somewhat pride myself on the language. And I fell from the sky, the heaven, the tree, or wherever. And I was like, ye kis chidiya ka naam hai? And then I got to know that there's a condition called autism and something like this happens. So the thing that which came actually in my mind was what next? What next?
Yeah.
I wanted, I so wanted to at that point of time as a mom, I so wanted to lament on that. I so wanted to cry. I wanted to break down. But then again, some sort of a panic button got hit inside me, and I was like, boss, ab kya karu? Kya karna hai bata do. And then we started educating ourselves, whatever resource that we could put our hands on, and then started going to social media, looking for support groups, looking for people who we can talk to. And I was not able to find any support group or anybody. But then thankfully, I got hold of a lot of senior parents, which they really helped. They really helped during that point of time. And things were equally crazy for me because I had another child who was solely dependent on me. He was not even a month old, and he was a newborn baby. So things completely went out of my hand. Those 6 years of my life, those first 6 years of my life were, I really don't know when it was morning, when it was evening, when I was eating, when I was not eating, where am I? Have I combed my hair or not? What is it to take a luxury bath? Beauty parlor किस चिड़िया का नाम है?
Yeah.
who are friends, who are family, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. So those 6 years of my life were really crazy. And then came the breaking point. Then the day that you start questioning कि ये मैं कहाँ हूँ और मैं क्या कर रही हूँ. Is this what I really wanted to do with myself? Because I was feeling very, very lonely. Very lonely. It is not that there were not people who were around me, people who loved me. I had so many people who were, around me. I had so many people. I'm so fortunate to say this, that I had so many people who genuinely, genuinely loved me. But then again, एक वो होता है ना देवांगना, to know the difference between alone and lonely. So
Totally,
that
totally.
that that
Yeah.
in a line.
It's like
I
a
was feeling
biting
alone. I was,
thing, biting hole inside of you. People can like
yes.
sympathize with you, but no one gets the pain. I've heard stories of so many moms, so thank you for putting that in words. Yeah.
So I was alone. I was alone because nobody was able to, even howsoever would they have tried to help me at that point of time, they were not able to help me because they really don't know what to do. Even मुझे भी तब नहीं पता था क्या करना है. I don't know. I was just blindly following the therapist, blindly following the professionals, whatever that they're saying, whatever that they're asking of me, and I never knew where I was headed. So those 6 years of my life, I'll never forget those 6 years of my life. Were extremely, extremely difficult, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to all the senior parents that I've met whenever I've taken my son for his therapies and all. And amongst that, there was one parent who'd asked me the most crucial question of my life, and I'm ever thankful to her. I've always, always in any talking engagement that I've appeared to, I've always thanked that human being. She, at that point of time, she was mother to a 15-year-old young boy, and that boy was going through a lot of difficulties when it comes to adolescence. He was aggressive, he was self-hitting. I mean, like severe, severe aggression and episodes that were happening. Even in that situation, that mom, when she saw me, and my son was all of 3 or 4 years old, at that situation, that mom, she saw me, she walked up to me and she said that, "Are you okay?" And that's when I realized कितने important ये तीन शब्द हैं मेरे लिए मेरी life में. When I was growing up, being the typical 90s bachcha that I was like, the most three important words in my life are "I love you." I said, "No, dude, it's not "I love you." The most important word in your life, ever it will be, is "Are you okay?" So that's how it started. It was extremely difficult, but then again, we kept running, we kept nudging, we kept, going on this path. Thankfully, amazing, amazing human beings, amazing, amazing people had been associated with us and our families, and they somehow have saved us. They are still saving us because the journey to khatam nahi hui hai abhi. And of course, this journey is full of unpredictability. So one just needs to, come in terms with that unpredictability of this journey. And वो coming in terms कब होगा ये नहीं पता. There is no date attached to it. There is no date attached to it. So my request, I've always requested all the parents, go easy on yourself. If you want to break down, break down. If you want to cry, cry. If you don't want to, if there is a day when you just want to stand and say, look in the eyes of your child and say, I have nothing to do with you. You are not the one that I've asked for. It is okay. Nobody is judging you. Nobody is saying anything to you. Just do that. Just do this much for your own self. This is my own realization.
Totally.
My own learning.
Totally. Yeah. I love that. Thank you for just sharing it so honestly, because I'm sure any mom, not even just like a mom of a child on the spectrum of autism, but any mom would relate to that. When my mom heard it, she'd be like, yes, that's my story. So yeah, I hear you. Ashiish, your story about, Rishan and yourself and your journey. And I think like just from a dad's point of view, how it's different from a mom. So
yeah. Sure. I think Kreeti, that's just so beautifully phrased, and I think the way I think the two things that I did really pull out from here before I go into our backstory, उसमें flashback में जाने से पहले, I think that "Are you okay?" Pete, I think it's just so I think we forget about that very often, or कई बार I guess as parents, I think at times there are tough days, being an autism parent. So there are days when you will potentially आपका पेशेंस नहीं रहता, अपने थ्रेशोल्ड लेवल्स आई गेस दुनिया से ज्यादा ऊंचे होना जरूरी है और हैं, बट देयर आर डेज व्हेन यू विल क्रैक एंड there are days when you will also kind of lash out or react in a variety of ways and say things that you will really regret. And I know how guilty it makes you feel and how terrible you feel. But usse rona aata hai, and that's what you kind of land up doing. But जो एयरलाइंस में कहते हैं ना दैट कृपया दूसरों को हेल्प करने से पहले अपना खुद का ऑक्सीजन मास्क लगा लें. And I think that is just so important. I think self-care, which is what people forget often, especially in our community. And I think it's all the more accentuated. I'm going to sound, may not be politically correct, but I think autism moms tend to take on a slightly higher share of the load, as is always the case. I don't know why, but it happens kind of organically, and that's not fair. At times because guys are fundamentally selfish. I'm guilty of that as well. And if not selfish, they're stupid. So, so I think that's really important for moms to be kind of out for that or to take care of that. Now coming back, if at all, to Rishan's journey and our story, I think as is usually the case, I think the mom catches things first, which the world doesn't catch. Or my wife, Sheetal, and the voice of reason in my life, she's the one who kind of caught a few things. Sare physical milestones hain. He's talking right, he's walking right, he's imitating things and all of that. But when you see him in a group with other kids, कि शायद थोड़ा अलग है, कुछ चीजें अलग है. The way he's playing, the way he's focused just on a part of a, like the wheels of a car, or he loves looking at things which are like the ceiling fan, or echolalia of repeating things, or certain repetitive behaviors. And she started noticing some of these things. And someone in one of his play schools kind of also flagged that, saying, "Hey, observe." And she caught this, and she of course flagged it off with me. As is usually the case, I kind of brushed it off. And I said, नहीं यार, I think बच्चा है यार, ये आप worry कर रहे हो, कुछ नहीं है, ठीक हो जाएगा. I guess bulk of it is stuff that we didn't even understand, at least for me. Eventually, she kind of pushed me into also going into observation in one of these play schools I did, and I realized what she's talking about. And that's when we met a doctor, and he threw this word autism at us. और हमें कोई like you said, ये क्या है, ये समझ में नहीं आया, अंकल वापस बोलो. That kind of situation happened. And my reference point obviously comes from movies. So my reference point was Rain Man. मुझे लगा चलो डस्टिन हॉफमैन पैदा हो गया, अब चलो, this is a classic line that I often use, that कसिनो लेके चलते हैं, ब्लैक जैक खिलवाएंगे, बहुत पैसे बनेंगे.
कितना प्रेशर है, बॉन्ड में प्रेशर.
What's wrong with you? You're an idiot. So that's when one tried to kind of. I think initially, at least for me, fortunately, Sheetal kind of saw this very early on, so we were able to kind of identify it. I think जितना जल्दी आप accept करें, I think that's the fundamental thing कि आपको accept खुद पहले करना जरूरी है. That this is what you're working with, and then you can work with it. You don't have to work around it. You have to just work with it, right? So I think that's really important. And I think for the longest time, I was in denial.
Yeah.
So even if there's a formal diagnosis or it's in front of you, and I think initially, I think my approach, it was terrible. Yeah. I turned to work to cope with it. So I turned to work to not just to escape, but to cope with it. Yeah. And which is, I think, really unfair that I kind of landed up leaving Sheetal, my wife, all by herself to kind of handle this. कि नहीं, मेरा काम तो मैं पैसे कमा के ले आऊंगा, मैं थेरेपी के पैसे दे दूंगा. And that's not how this module will work. Yeah. Like you said, I think it takes a village. Yeah. Essentially to raise a child on the spectrum, and you need all the support, especially that family unit needs to be tight. Yeah. It's not just medication, not just therapies. I think ये घर पे अगर जो ये आपका backbone है, अगर वो कड़क सही नहीं रहा तो बाकी चीजें हिलेंगी. And I think it took me a little while to kind of wrap my own head around this and accept that. Fortunately, I did. And then, each of us, as in me and my wife, kind of played off each other's strengths. My parents, my in-laws, obviously also, this was hard for them to understand, right? They're from the earlier generation, like, ye kya hota hai, aise thodi na hota hai, etc. but they were very supportive, even if they didn't understand it. So supportive in terms of, अच्छा आप ये चीजें छोड़ दो, ये हम संभाल लेंगे, and things like that. And I think both Sheetal and I then kind of played off each other's strengths. That Sheetal's a chartered accountant, so she would come in automatically. I mean, now as typically all autism moms are, she's a, almost like a doctor, therapist, shrink. Speech language pathologist, all of that rolled into, counselor, coach, mentor, all of that. So the academic side and all of that kind of got picked up by her. By definition, I am the extracurricular guy. Gana bajana iske paas. So the extracurricular, the musical side, the creative side, ye cheeze is where I kind of jumped in, and and there's this classic insight, कि यार भगवान एक दरवाजा जब बंद करता है तो चार और खिड़कियां खोल देता है. So fortunately, I mean, while my friends and my peers, their kids are in that zone of सब यूनिवर्सिटी जा रहे हैं, essays लिख रहे हैं, GMAT, SAT, और हमें कोई आइडिया नहीं है ये क्या हो रहा है, empty nest syndrome and all. This is our kid for life, right? ये तो lifetime हमारा बच्चा है. So fortunately, he's not in that rat race of अच्छे नंबर लाने, अच्छे मार्क्स लाने, अच्छी नौकरी पे लगना है. So he found his calling fairly early in life in music. Like Rishan has his own YouTube channel. He sings. He's great fun. And unfortunately, the poor guy's got a terrible sense of humor because of me. That comes from me. So,
his best, I should tell, his best was Matilda.
Oh yes, you saw that. Yes,
that's amazing. Amazing. So I grew up with Hari Belafonte because that was my father's favorite, one of my father's favorite.
Of course.
But when I heard him singing, I wish Dad was alive. I mean, honestly, I would have shared this with him.
So we've exposed him to all kinds of, from Kishore. I mean, his playlist is Kishore Kumar to Coldplay and Bappi Da to Beatles. So which is great. So that's where I kind of jumped in. कि ये इसको surround इस तरह से nurture करते हैं. And I think over a period of time, I think that phase that we all kind of, that cycle that we all go through of denial, anger, guilt, shame, frustration, acceptance. I think acceptance जितना जल्दी आ जाए, बाकी की जर्नी और आसान हो जाएगी. And now we've got to that stage where you're no longer in that acceptance, appreciation phase. We are now in that phase of celebration. Like I can't imagine life without Rishan or without autism. I think we would have been very, very different people. I think he's made me not just a better father, but a better person. I think I would have been a very, very different, way more selfish person. I mean, this would have never happened, in terms of wanting to create awareness. I mean, कई बार, like, हमारे बच्चे, they are not meant to be a walking, talking public service announcement for people. But if you're able to really use that, because लोग जो समझते नहीं है, जो जानते नहीं है, उन चीजों से डरते हैं. So the minute you're able to kind of create that, that's when you're able to bring in that acceptance. And Devangana mentioned an interesting statistic about autism, right? Which is 1 in 36, and that's the official statistic in the US. Now you can imagine the amount of people who have access or don't even have access to getting formal assessments. अब मैं इंडिया की तो बात ही नहीं करूंगा because stigma है और अब वो एक अलग circus चल रहा है. And I mean, look at me, I'm like a late diagnosed autistic, and this is true in the UK. Like 70% of cases of people above 50 don't even get diagnosed, right? So here's a crazy number, right? 37.5% of the world is disabled. When did you put in, for most people, disability looks like a wheelchair, looks like a walking stick, looks like glasses. But disability also looks like this. And most people can't imagine that.
There are 21 invisible disabilities, which right now the RCWD Act have imbibed in their act.
There you go, right? So minute you put that in, that means 37.5% means 1 in every third person. And look at it, between the three of us, I'm raising my hand, right? And it's very likely that
Ashiish and Kreeti, sorry to interrupt you, but I've spent since I was 21 and formally working with kids on the spectrum, and it's been a long time. And there are times when I'm just like, the whole world is so boring. I'm just like, what to do after teaching kids on the spectrum?
It adds color to our life, right? I mean, that's what
so boring. Kids on the spectrum.
Absolutely.
Like, how my life. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So I mean, that's what. अगर life vanilla है, तो autism उसकी वो chocolate sauce और sprinkles है, frankly. और तो बनता है. I think that's what I think. It's very likely that you also know someone with autism. And you don't even know it. And in the amount of people who come back after this book, that we've done, that यार ये मेरे स्कूल में एक लड़की थी ऐसी, या फिर मेरे ऑफिस में एक जो लड़का है वो हमेशा अकेले बैठ के खाना खाता है, या फिर डूड मेरे चाचा जी, और ये तो मैं हूँ. And it's just so, I think the more we're able to kind of build out that, I think that's what when people understand. And I think it's never too early or never too late to become an ally or to understand neurodiversity.
Understand.
Because
Correct,
especially
correct,
someone's
correct.
routine, स्पेशली
Absolutely.
दुनिया नहीं होती है तो एक ही दुनिया में there's no bubble, right? तो I think वो शुरुआत और समझाना और करना बहुत जरूरी है, which is why kids book became really important to create that journey. And that's as far as Rishan, sorry it was a long-winded answer. As far as I'm concerned, Devangana, I think what happened for me is, वो कहते हैं ना like father like son, मेरे लिए reverse था. It was a like son like father. And over, especially the last few years, thanks to the pandemic and the lockdown, once landed up, I work from home, so you landed up spending a lot more time together. So, I started noticing a lot of symptoms, a lot of similarities, and you start sensing कि यार ये तो मैं हूँ, यार ये तो बिल्कुल ऐसे ही था. And then I think looking at Rishan live out his authentic life, I realized कि यार शायद बचपन में as a kid there were things I just didn't understand. I think as a teenager there were things I ignored, and as an adult, I learned very smartly to hide them. कि ये वो लॉकडाउन वाला मास्क लगा के मैं चल रहा था हमेशा. Like if I'm doing a session like even like this, and then thank you for sharing the questions in advance and giving us like a very clear roadmap. But even if it's like I tell you, it's a family gathering or a reunion in college with or a casual hangout with friends. I may look like I'm very easy to get along with and I'm the life of the party, but that's my firewall. I'm in hyper alert mode. I almost write a screenplay and a script of dialogues to figure out what my conversation is going to be. And that's a very stressful way. Like 3 दिन पहले I'll be in like stress panic mode के अब मैं क्या बोलूँगा, कोई इसने ये कह दिया तो मैं क्या कहूँगा. I have all these route maps worked out, and even after that gathering, as casual or fun as it may have been, it takes me literally 48 hours to kind of come out of it, to recover from it. And I think those are things I needed to. I think it's less about the label. I think I just needed that clarity for myself of मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ, and I think that's just really helped me. And it's been an interesting set of reactions.
So
there are people who want to reach out saying,
high schoolers jump in here, but it's interesting, Ashiish, because like when I taught 9th graders, they came to me with similar like things that they were speaking in movie dialogue. So they were like saying, "Hey, how you doing?" to girls, and I'm just like, dude, that girl's never gonna like you. Like she's never gonna go on a date with you or to prom if you're saying like movie dialogues to her. But like over 2 years, of 2-3 years, we were able to like break some of that scripted speech and like get into debate and intellectualization and arguments and essay writing and things like that. So I fully hear you that I met very interesting young teenagers who like had your problems very early on that we kind of stumbled upon in the classroom. So
glad you're there early on to help them. हमारे पास कोई था नहीं. It's really funny. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can use a foul word over here. Like one of my best friends. So this is my best friend, okay? Like we've grown up together, neighbors, sat on the same benches, went to the same school, had crushes on the same girls and all of that, right? So finally when I shared this with that, I got a formal assessment and his reaction was like, hey, nahi, tu autistic nahi, tu chutiya hai. It was just like, but that's it. Like, really? Okay, thank you, bro. So that means well. And then we have to we just want to talk. And it's just funny.
No, fully. Okay, so since people have short attention spans, and I love chatting with you guys, but I want everyone to hear our conversation. So I really want to ask a very important question.
Sure.
Which is like we've kind of like touched upon some of the joys of parenting, but before I get into that a little more, I want to ask both of you, what have been some of the hardest roadblocks, most difficult parts of being a parent to a child on the spectrum? Because my worry, Ashiish and Kreeti and whoever will listen to this, is we really like painted the space of autism with like, oh, he's so cute, he now talks, he now makes friends. And I'm like, yes, all of that is true. But every day I spend half my time struggling teaching than, enjoying teaching. So I'd love to hear from parents who spend, 100% of their lives on kids, roadblocks, difficulties, raising a child on the spectrum.
So what do you, Kreeti?
So I'm really not. I'll not be able to pinpoint to say one thing as hardest or anything. But then again, there are a lot of bits and pieces here and there which keeps, do you remember that classic thing about when बच्चे Lego खेलते हैं ज़मीन पे बैठ के? we've seen the memes and so many times, one of the parent walks in और अंधेरे में जा रहा है, खटाक पैर के नीचे ले go.
Yeah.
And so this is what this entire journey is all about. वैसे ही अंधेरे में we are wading through अंधेरा and suddenly एक लेगो का टुकड़ा खटाक पैर पे आया. Hardest, I really don't know. As I shared earlier also, it's this journey is, yes, it's full of unpredictability. So I think अगर I would not want to call it a roadblock. अगर roadblock के बारे में देवांगना बात करना शुरू करेंगे तो फिर from the government policies to a lot of things are there. We probably would want another evening with you. I and Ashish would want another evening with you talking about the roadblocks. But then I would, can I change this roadblock to fear?
Yeah.
An autistic and a parent who's or a caregiver who's in this journey has this constant fear of unpredictability, one, and second fear is what after us?
Yeah.
What if I don't wake up tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
So these are the fear, the hardest, the longest, the most crucial, the most painful fear that a caregiver has. And I always ask this of people that इसी fear को fuel बना लो और काम पे लग जाओ.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
You know, या तो करो वो I don't remember किसने बोला था, या तो करो या तो मरो.
Yeah.
So life will always give you these two choices. There is no third choice. या तो आप कर लो या तो मर लो. I mean, it's your choice. So fear है, बिल्कुल है. The first stage of it is that accept that fear कि हाँ मुझे डर लगता है इन सब चीजों से. मैं ऑटिज्म से डरती हूँ, हाँ बिल्कुल डरती हूँ भैया, मुझे नहीं पता what is going to throw right on my face the next, probably in the next 5 seconds. I don't know what's going to happen right now, right here, मेरे घर में. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that thing is, that's why autistic जो parents होते हैं, मैं तो कहती हूँ उनको FBI के agents बना दो, undercover shower. उनके जो antennas है ना, they will solve cases better than any field agent out there. I'm absolutely sure about it.
Yeah.
So उसी को please, उसी fear को fuel बना लीजिए. And do something about it. Get to work. Do something about it.
Yeah.
Social media है, सब लोग WhatsApp पे बैठे हैं. बहुत सारे हमारे दोस्त यार हैं, बहुत सारे groups में हम we are part of a lot of groups, lot of communities out there. So start encashing on those connections, and start empowering yourself. Don't wait for some Prithviraj Chauhan to come and rescue your Sanyukta. Please, नहीं होगा ऐसा कुछ भी, नहीं होगा, नहीं होने वाला ऐसा कुछ भी. Please, खुद empower होइए. Start asking questions. अच्छा अब मुझे क्या करना है, अच्छा अब अगला क्या करना है, अच्छा अब मैं क्या करूं. Please, these questions are very very important. So hardest roadblock तो देवांगना नहीं बता पाऊंगी, roadblocks तो अलग ही कहानी है हमारे लिए, but हाँ fear जरूर बता पाऊंगी. और ये fear, ये दो हैं, the unpredictability that this journey gets, and of course what after us, what's going to happen if we are not around.
Yeah.
I think very well phrased, Kirti. If at all I had to add, like you said, I think अगर वो external roadblocks की बात करी जाए तो obviously from policy to the world and the society's understanding of neurodiversity, inclusion, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, but definitely things, every day things are getting better. I see that, which is great. The very fact that we're having a conversation like this, right, which is amazing. But I think in my mind, the first and the foremost and the most fundamental roadblock, and let me call it that, sits not outside, it sits inside. I think the fundamental first roadblock is acceptance. I think most people, for the longest time, the sooner they're able to accept it, ye hai. I think the easier the journey will become, like I said. I think to ye fundamentally pehle karna, you'll be able to then work with it. So I think that's your primary first thing for me, to talk about. And sorry, someone just called out saying, love the t-shirt. And yes, I love the line. It says,
Aditi. Hi, Aditi.
So yes, it says weird and wow. Aditi, of course, the rock star from Much Spectrum. Hello, out there. So, and so by the way, we have a movie date tomorrow with Aditi and Alap. So, my wife is really concerned because there's 4 autistic people and her watching a movie. So she's like, oh God, this is seriously Mission Impossible. Yeah. But I digress. Coming back. Yeah. So there is, I think fundamentally step 1 is really that acceptance. That's your first roadblock. I think the second essential roadblock or or challenge of sorts is like you said, the fear. Baki, obviously all parents are concerned about their kids, right? कि क्या करेगा बड़ा होके, right? But I think बाकी neurotypical parents का क्या होता है कि इसको पाल पोस के अपने पैरों पे खड़ा कर दिया, अब ये दौड़ेगा. For us, it's always that fear of कि यार मैं लुढ़क गया कल तो. And I think the lockdown and the pandemic did that, like it focused all out saying, hey, what if? So you always have to, because this is a child who may not be able to earn a rupee for himself.
Yeah.
Or may not be able to fend for, even if he is, he may get cheated by someone. So you really need to, and that's something also to accept and start planning for it. So I also did the smart thing. I married a chartered accountant. So she's also, I mean, thought like, 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead and said, यार trust बनाना है. या फिर एक setup करना है ताकि, I mean, like Rishan is an only child, but even if he had a sibling, right, there is no guarantee or there is no mandate for a sibling to have to take care of his special sibling.
Absolutely.
It is not necessarily meant to be their responsibility. So how do you really make them independent financially and otherwise? So that's another very key piece that I'd probably share of what after us. But so how do you plan for that? I think that's another key piece. I think the third and the biggest in my mind, and it's the most heartbreaking, and this is stuff that Sheetal and I kind of talk about, possibly cry about very, very often, is because it's a social communication challenge. Like Sheetal and I started dating, we've been married like 22 years. We were dating 9 years before that. So we've been together more than half our lives. And we started dating at the age Rishan is right now. We started dating that time.
Yeah.
And when you go out, you see kids that age watching a movie. And Rishan is a social kid, but making friends is a challenge. And when he was younger, and kids can be cruel, So वो जो गैप दिखता है कि दोस्त बनाने में जो प्रॉब्लम होता है, like there's a few friends who will reach out, who will message him like, hey, how are you, great seeing you in school today. After a message he will lose interest, or there may not be a relevant engagement over there, which is at times kind of tough to watch. And I wish he had best friends where he could also go and bitch about his father or bitch about his mom, or because we overhear that with neurotypical kids saying, yeah, our mom ne ye kar diya, I'm damn irritated with her. So that is a, I don't know if you can call it a roadblock, but I wish there was a way to magically fix that. So I'm just like everything else. Not that it needs fixing, but I wish there was a way to, educate the world faster. उनके कुछ, खाने में Red Bull, steroids और black coffee मिला के उनको घोल बना के पिला दो ताकि ये चीज समझ जाए तो ये एक दुनिया जो बन सके. I think that, if at all, I'll probably add.
So can I ask you both a follow-up question to this, which is, there's a worry of what if we're not there tomorrow, our kids are too seedha, someone's going to fool them, someone's going to bully them, blah, blah, blah. How much of your anxiety of, these suspected roadblocks comes in the way of, your parenting, or how you, micromanage your child's life or manage their independence and all of that? Like how much does that, your own fears, impact your child's life? And you think about it, what is it like?
Ashish, you first.
Sure. Well, now I'm a teenager now, okay? And it's like live out your dreams through your child.
Yeah.
So जो गलत है, जो हमें नहीं करना चाहिए, और I'm guilty of that. मैंने भी किया कि यार मेरा बेटा तो ऑस्कर जीतेगा, ग्रैमी जीतेगा, ये क्या बात है? And then you realize कि शायद जीतेगा, लेकिन उसका रोड मैप मेरी तरह नहीं होगा. उसका, and because this journey is not a sprint, right? It's a marathon. It's a really long marathon, and it's not a 42 kilometer. It's like a hell, 142 kilometer with no lights and all of that, right? So that really, I think, one is guilty of trying to kind of navigate that in the interest of supporting, in the interest of allaying your own fears, your own anxiety. I think my wife handles it really well, like everything else in life. She's figured out that, man, you got to talk to him like a teenager. You got to back off. You got to know when to back off. So jump in and let him make the choices. So it could be as simple as, choices of restaurants, choices of food, choice of what to wear, etc., as a regular neurotypical kid would do. So I think one is obviously there to kind of support it, but one is now moving to that stage where she's moving away from being a helicopter mom. I'm moving away from being that in his face that it will kind of, annoy him, piss him off.
Yeah.
That allow him to make those choices. And I think there's enough cognition there now with age of understanding some of these things. There might be still some impulse control which may lead him to do something which may not help him. But I think it's better if he learns from those mistakes.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, it's going to be really harmful. So that's how we're trying to kind of do that.
Yeah.
And try and navigate it. But you know what? Like there is no user manual
Yeah.
on this one. We're kind of writing it as we, and learning on the job. So that's how you take a day at a time.
Yeah.
And take it from there.
Yeah, no, I fully hear you. I love that. Thank you for sharing that in all honesty, because that's
Sure.
super helpful.
I think
You.
I think what Ashish said, I also agree. I would want to add a little pinch of garam masala in whatever that he had said.
Always
Being a mom is very, very
As a
tough.
woman, you really
Very.
garam masala.
Being a mom is very, very tough. And I would forget about autism, forget about anything else right now. Think about your own moms. And you all are grown ups. Come on. I mean, yeah. Just still tell me, how does she behave around you? And how does she behave when you're not around her? She would still want to know if you had your khana or not. She would still want to know, तू कल कितने बजे सोया? तू रात को कितने बजे वापस आया? And howsoever you would want to tell her that, look, ma, I'm 40 or I'm 50. You really don't need to have to do that. But then again, a ma will always be a ma. So when it comes to ये जो Devangana, the question that you asked now, passing on to your anxiety and the fear and everything, what happens between a mom and a child is that when the child is getting born, umbilical cord तो काट देता है doctor or whosoever, but एक invisible umbilical cord रह जाता है.
Totally.
The child will keep feeding on his mom's emotions, and the mom will always thrive because of the child's emotions.
Yeah.
So this is a given fact.
Yeah.
Given fact.
Yeah.
Just one day, I mean, my son, he's non-verbal, can't talk. Like what Ashish shared, social communication. Yes, बहुत चिंता होती है, दोस्त नहीं है, क्या करेगा? Anyway, so communicate तो कर नहीं पा रहा है. But then again, he's able to understand everything, right? And there's a day, if I tell him, उसको बोला भी नहीं मैंने. I just said that, oh, I'm not feeling too good today. I'm feeling very down and out. I have a very bad headache. उसी दिन I'll witness the worst meltdown of the century.
Yeah.
That very day.
Yeah.
So there are very magical things that happen around a mom, and I'm sure all the moms out there who have joined us right now, or probably who will be listening to this later, will agree to this कि आज तक ये मामला माओ को समझ में नहीं आया है. That is why Ashish is constantly, appreciating Sheetal so much.
Yeah.
And I mean, awesome, touch wood, guys, touch wood. Why is Sheetal able to do so many things which Ashish is not able to accomplish?
Yeah.
It's not that Ashish doesn't want to do it. He would want to do it. He's just not able to get that connection. He's just not able to get there. I mean, he's right there. He's probably at the periphery, but he's not able to just get there, So एक माँ और एक बच्चा हमेशा बहुत special रहेंगे. So passing जितना भी consciously हम कोशिश करें ना कि my anxiety, my दुख, my pain and blah 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 should not passed on to my child. वो होके ही रहेगा. वो होके ही रहेगा. So that will happen. That will happen. I mean, if your mom is sitting 3,000 miles away from you and you just pick the phone up, hi ma, how are you? And boom, क्या हुआ?
Yeah.
ऐसे क्यों बात कर रहा है?
Yeah.
ऐसे क्यों बात कर रहा है? क्या बात है बता?
Yeah.
And howsoever that you try to hide it, she'll be after your life.
100%.
कुछ तो हुआ है, तू बता नहीं रहा है. क्या हुआ है? So.
Yeah.
So that thing, and I agree to Ashish's next point, which I have named as parental aspirations. But yes, keep them aside, keep them in the freezer. I'm not saying that throw them in the dustbin. Keep them in the freezer. Keep them in the freezer for a while.
But just like let's move forward into that part of it. Like as teenage, a little more than teenage sons that you're raising, what are your hopes for their future, and how much do you intervene in the system, in the schooling system, therapy system, government policies? Where is the funding going? Is the funding going in the right direction? Are the caregivers, are the practitioners really doing what they should be doing? Are they meeting their goals? Like, how much as parents are you advocates of making sure your child is on the right journey towards independence?
So this is again a point of realization, actually, as and when, because what happens is we should always remember the first and foremost challenge of this condition is attaining certain milestones. So when it comes to the path of independence, I think the first couple of milestones that one needs to, tackle and take care of is very nitty-gritty things: toilet training, buttoning their own shirt, pulling the pant up, taking care of the sensory issue. There are a lot of children who are not able to wear undergarments. So बहुत सारे ना देवांगना छोटे issues हैं, which actually now I can use the word that you have used, which can actually become the roadblock towards independent life. Independent life. So when it comes to this condition, I really don't know when one child will be able to go and sit on the toilet seat and use the toilet on his own. And after using the toilet, he's able to wash himself. He's then washing his hands, closing the tap, switching off the light, closing the door, the bathroom door, and coming out of it. So these are like different steps that one needs to follow. So coming back to the main point. So the main deterrent towards attaining an independent life would always rest on these little things that we call activities of daily living. In short, in our fraternity, it is, of course, you know about them. It's called ADLs.
Totally.
That brush karna bhi issue hai. So many children have so many sensory issues. Toothpaste ka smell problem hai, wo jo jhaag ban raha hai wo problem hai. The mere toothbrush, the bristles, chahe aap usko softest wala bhi khareed ke do, in that around the mouth wo ek issue hai. So there are a lot of children who are still not able to brush their teeth. And the parents and the therapist and the teachers are right at it. You have grown up, you should know how to brush your teeth and everything. There are so many children who are still tackling to attain toilet training. So when it comes to independent living, first and foremost things that actually comes to our mind, not mind, but then again, those are the goals that we have to achieve, is activities of daily living. And then, of course, after that, then comes, you would want to see potential of your child. वो एक और मामला है, उसका भी कोई डेट नहीं है. आज शायद एक बच्चा है जो कल की ही बात है. I was having a conversation with a mom and she said, can you imagine, Kriti, he started talking when he was 16 years of age. So I was like, yes, I can very well imagine. My son is 13, he still can't talk. Probably, I don't know, he might talk right now, he might talk when he's 17. I don't know. I'm okay with it. I mean, I can fully understand that. So second comes that. Potential. And when I talk about potential, it is not like that I would want my child or anyone's child to show me signs कि हाँ भाई, जो आशीष ने बोला कि भाई तू पैसे कमा पाएगा अपने लिए, अपने पैरों पे खड़ा हो पाएगा, the typical Indian thing, मेरा बच्चा पैरों पे खड़ा हो जाए, settle हो जाए. The next comes that. And when I say potential, I don't mean that the child start displaying something which is employable in nature, which will bring money on the table. No, I don't mean by that. I mean, finding his own self. Art, जैसे Rishan का है, he found himself in music. There are so many children who woke up to art. They are doing brilliant abstract arts. By the way, if anyone's out there who's listening to us right now, we have this amazing platform called Samavesh. Look us up on Facebook. It's Samavesh. All my brilliant bachas are there. Go and check them out. Please go and check them out. Anyways, coming back to the point. So it is finding your own self. Finding your own self. And then keep working on it and see if that realization of your child is one bringing happiness to him, that he's happy doing it. ऐसा नहीं कि वही पेरेंटल एस्पिरेशन पीछे पड़ गया, नहीं तू तो पढ़ेगा, नहीं तू तो लिखेगा, नहीं तो तुम्हारा बापू IIT है, तू तो पढ़ेगा, तू तो लिखेगा, तू तो 80 लाएगा 100 में. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Keep working with the child, keep help him understand himself. The third, the biggest thing at this point of time, all is it happening, Devangana, is emotional regulation. He is autistic, for God's sake. He doesn't know what is happening with him. समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा, कभी गर्मी लग रही है, कभी भूख लग रही है, कभी तुम्हारी आवाज सुन के चिड़चिड़ हो रहा है. हमको नहीं होता किसी की आवाज सुन के, अरे चुप हो जाना यार, तू बहुत बोल लिया, तू चुप रहे, मेरे सर में दर्द हो गया. एटलीस्ट मैं आप बोल सकती हूँ, मैं आपको बता सकती हूँ. वो इंसान कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पा रहा है मुझे. So how to regulate his own self, you know? And emotional regulation is such a funny thing. It's such a funny challenge. That is your own battle. Nobody can actually, sit and teach you how to regulate yourself. We parents or we therapists or any teachers or any behavioral specialist, anybody can go up to one certain limit. उसके आगे बंदे का अपना battle होता है. तू खुद को regulate कैसे कर रहा है? That is one of the biggest thing one has to take care of. One has to constantly help the child, coming in terms with their own selves. So, and of course, उसके बाद साइड में सब लोग तो आशीष की तरह लकी नहीं होते कि चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट घर में ही है. बट हाँ, प्लीज आशीष से दोस्ती करिए सब लोग, पेरेंट्स आउट देयर. क्योंकि ये आप जो कर रहे हैं, साइड में ये काम भी चलते रहना चाहिए. बिकॉज एज आशीष सेड, वो मैं बिल्कुल अग्री करती हूँ उनके साथ. अगर कोविड ने कुछ सिखाया है तो ये सिखाया है, भाई नहीं पता आपकी आंख कब बंद हो जाए, नहीं पता कब बंद हो जाए. वी हैव सीन healthiest of the people leaving us. So कृपया रिक्वेस्टिंग एवरीबडी, एक छोटा सा एक्सेल स्प्रेडशीट बनाना शुरू करिए जिसमें आप लिखना शुरू करिए कि आपकी जिंदगी के एक्सपेंसेस क्या हैं रोजमर्रा के. लेट दैट बी द बिगिनिंग. एंड आवर प्लेटफॉर्म हैज एन awesome resource. We have a parent and finance group. We have these talks which are there on our Facebook page. जाइए वो टॉक्स सुनिए प्लीज, जहाँ पे प्रोफेशनल्स ने और सीनियर पेरेंट्स ने बताया है कि आप कैसे शुरू कर सकते हैं फाइनेंस और ये सब बिल्ड करना. सो ये सब पैरेलली होना चाहिए. ऑल दीज थिंग्स शुड स्टार्ट हैपनिंग पैरेलली. कमिंग टू द प्रिंसिपल्स, द RPWD एक्ट एंड एवरीथिंग, अगर आपको इन सब चीजों से समय मिलता है तो हम जैसे कुछ पागल बैठे हैं, प्लीज कम एंड जॉइन अस. हम वी आर एडवोकेट का तो मुझे पता नहीं, बट हाँ, we'll keep fighting for the rights of our children. And we'll of course make sure that जो दुनिया हम उनके लिए छोड़ के जाएं, that उस दुनिया में वो खुश रहें. बस और कुछ नहीं पता मुझे.
Sure.
Thank you so much. We have less time, but like Ashish, I'd love to hear as a parent, how much are you intervening to ensure that your hopes and your dreams that you have for Ishan are fulfilled? Because I think sometimes it becomes important.
Sure. I think I'll try and kind of keep it tight. I think एक चीज जो कीर्ति ने कही कि अपने पेरेंटल एस्पिरेशंस अपने फ्रीजर में रखो, तो अपने एस्पिरेशंस उस पे मत ठोको. I think so I've learned to kind of wrap my head around my aspirations of making him a filmmaker or whatever else, right? I think the primary thing that one is looking for right now, even when you say education, that there's a bunch of things in my graduation or whatever which were of no use to me. कि कॉमर्स खत्म कर लिया, बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन स्टेटमेंट बनाना अभी तक नहीं आया, या फिर बिजनेस स्कूल में इकोनोमेट्रिक्स सीख लिया ना, मैं ये क्यों सीख रहा हूँ, those kind of things. So I think for us that was just about literacy or understanding how to use math for time and money management. So I think if I were to pull back in terms of aspirations for our child, it would be, I hope he's able to lead an independent life, a happy, with enough doses of unhappiness so he realizes the value of happiness, and he's able to deal with both, and lead and do something which engages him. चाहे वो उसके करोड़ों लाखों रुपए कौन बनेगा करोड़पति ना खेल पाए, but if he's able, because that will give him confidence. I think one of the classic conversations socially that happen is आप करते क्या हो? So he's able to answer that from an engagement standpoint, not from a मैं करोड़ रुपए का CTC है. Doesn't matter. So I think if he's able to lead a fulfilling, engaged life independently, I will sleep happy, I will die happy. I think that's the primary aspiration, frankly the only aspiration. If he's in that able to find friends, family and a partner that is able to support him, and he's also able to support them and teach them like he does every day, My God, I will be delighted. So I think that's really the only aspiration or whatever hope that one has. That's one. Two, on the second thing that you said, that yeah, advocacy side and all of that, I think at times autism has a way of taking over your life.
Yeah.
तो ये प्रेशर मत लीजिए कि आपको दुनिया बदलनी है. Because by default, by
Correct.
even sharing your story with three people or
Absolutely.
one person, you do that. You don't realize it. You don't need to launch a campaign or
Correct.
become a brand ambassador or donate to 25,000 charities. Or by virtue of being and sharing, you're doing your bit. So don't take that pressure. But I think ये करने से जो चीजें हमें शायद पहले जल्दी ना मिली, वो सुनकर, वो सीखकर किसी और का रास्ता और स्मूथ हो सके, वो स्पीड बम्प थोड़े फ्लैट हो सके, that's a good thing. So, and I think autism teaches you to also give back.
Yeah.
Like our children
Correct.
teach us. So I think doing that उससे नींद बेहतर आती है. So for example, what we do, like I run a creative hot shop called Special, which is obviously a play on special, just like Special Mom. You know, it's just spelled special. But everything that we do, maybe on the front end, maybe doing the traditional things of पिक्चर बनाते हैं, वेब सीरीज बनाते हैं, म्यूजिक वीडियोस बनाते हैं, एड्स बनाते हैं, कहानियां लिखते हैं, किताबें छापते हैं, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. But irrespective of whether at the front end it has an integration in a book like this, or at the back end, without exception, everything has a tie-in with autism or neurodiversity for us. So I'll give you one example. Like very recently, we did a Bhojpuri music video, which is a whole new world. Okay, but the AD that we had on that was a kid on the spectrum. Incidentally, I think his mom is watching us right now as we speak. And, I mean, it was fantastic. He was such a joy to have on set. And classic thing, like the choreographers, the directors we had on set, we had a couple of big stars on the set from you know, the Hindi speaking belt. And as is the case when you introduce them, or they will not talk to them, they will talk through to them. So the choreographer was talking through and saying, ye samjhega, ye hoga. And this is a bright 19-year-old Parsi boy. Okay, so if his mom's watching, hi. And it was so funny. He's got a wicked sense of humor. So his quote unquote, he's saying, "Uncle, इसको बोलो ना, I'm autistic, not stupid." Huh? So he was just, I mean, so cracked up laughing, and I mean, it was just so much fun. And I think the video, the energy became better on set. So I think at the back end, be it, for example, the catering that one brings in, you know, in terms of on shoot, or the goodies we give away, I think वो करने से that becomes a by engaging or employing them, that becomes advocacy. I think as autism parents, it's not just I wouldn't call it. Let's not put that pressure of duty, but it's a privilege that we have of being able to make the world more inclusive. So I think that's the reason. और मुझे ये समझ में आ गया, you know, कि यार भाषण कोई सुनता नहीं है यार देवांगना, कि भाषण दो, ये सरमन करो, कोई इसको इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, तो गाने सुनाओ, कहानी सुनाओ. That's when the firewalls go down. That's when you're able to drop truth bombs and say things you will not be able to do otherwise. And that's when world wakes up and says, हाँ यार, ये तो सच है, हाँ ये हो सकता है. And I think that's at least a tool of advocacy that I kind of use, which is why Rishant does what he does with music or comedy.
Yeah. Because as a teacher, my goal is to get all my kids into university somehow, in some university, so that the world gets a glimpse and a feel and a taste of who they are, or in internships or in other places. Because your kids are just like the best things that have happened to my life, and that's why I'm so appreciative of just like you guys for, you know, doing the work that you're doing and just being so spirited and amazing. So thank you. We're at 7:33 India time. I'm just going to give you guys the next few minutes to say anything else that you wanted to fit in and you couldn't fit in. That'd be amazing. I mean, we'll keep chatting, but I just want to like spend the next 5 minutes. Anything else?
What do you think?
Oh, there's so many things that I would want to say, but firstly, I would begin with thanking both of you. Amazing conversation. And of course, I would really want if this conversation, you know, can bring in a lot of people, you know, associated with us doing the right kind of thing for our children and for the ecosystem. The only important thing that I would want to, you know, leave everyone with is what Ashish had said, you know. वो इंक्लूजन करने के लिए तुमको चीख चिल्ला के करने का वो कैंपेन लॉन्च करके जरूरत नहीं है. स्टार्ट विथ योर नेबरहुड इटसेल्फ. Start talking about start talking about your family, start talking about your own self. And not necessarily जाके आपको, you don't have to take an entire class or a training program on autism and autism awareness. Just start talking about your own self. Start with that. Who are you? Where are you coming from? Okay, now tell us about your child. My child is this. And you just start doing. And your ripple effect जिसको बोलते हैं, I'm sure this will reach somewhere. And the most important thing that I've always asked of people, that I've always requested them of, is it is very easy for someone to say this to you. Yeah, stay positive, stay happy, it is okay. And just come on. I mean, they have good intentions for you, but they just know half the truth. So just smile at them and just thank them for the love and the affection that they have for you. It is absolutely okay to be negative. It is absolutely okay to feel that you're in the pits, you're in the abyss. It's absolutely okay to hate yourself. But then again, accept these things in your own self and move on. Just move on. Just move on. ठीक है भैया, मुझे नहीं पसंद, मैं जहाँ पर हूँ, मुझे इस घर में नहीं रहना, मुझे इन बच्चों से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. I have nothing to do with autism. I have nothing to do with anything. But then again, okay, ये सब मैंने बोल दिया. अब क्या करना है बताओ? अब क्या करूँ? अब क्या करूँ? And find that 5 minutes. It is absolutely okay. Motherhood guilt बहुत ही बुरी चीज है. Please इसको डस्टबिन में फेंकिए, इसको फ्रीजर में मत रखिए, इसको डस्टबिन में फेंकिए, because that is the वो हम पढ़ते हैं, लिखा हुआ है, one act of kindness one day. So let that be the act of kindness. Act of kindness का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप दान धर्म कुछ करें, वो भी कर सकते हैं, आपकी मर्जी, but real act of kindness would be to your own self. दिन में 5 मिनट भी निकालिए प्लीज. ये आशीष जैसे लोग हैं जो बहुत सारा कंटेंट बनाते रहते हैं, प्लीज वो कंटेंट जाके देखिए, हंसिए, गो कॉल अप अ फ्रेंड जिसका ऑटिस्टिक दुनिया से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, गप्पे मारिए, नेल पेंट खरीदिए, अमेजोन पे शॉपिंग करिए प्लीज, मिंत्रा पे सेल चल रही है, प्लीज गो एंड वॉच शाहरुख खान लेटेस्ट ट्रेलर. I saw it today, and I was so happy when I saw it. I was like, gosh, ye banda. Please do it. And that trailer is only for 1 minute and 26 seconds. So, खुद को वो 1 minute 26 seconds जिंदगी का दीजिए, please. You deserve that. You truly need that. Trust me when I'm saying it. जोर जोर से गाना गाइए, नाचिए, जो मैं करती हूँ. मुझे नहीं पता ऑटिस्टिक बच्चे के साथ क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, मुझे नहीं पता, क्योंकि मैंने नहीं सीखा है. What I do is, टिपिकली हमारे दिन में probably at around 5 or 6 o'clock हम जोर जोर से सिद्धू मूसे वाला पंजाबी गाना लगाते हैं, because my son loves them. मुझे एक भी शब्द समझ में नहीं आता है उसका, and we dance. We just dance. और बीच बीच में मैं बदमाशी करती हूँ, मैं इन्फ्यूज करती हूँ. आई इन्फ्यूज माइकल जैक्सन, रिक एस्टली, बीच बीच में मैं डालती रहती हूँ. मैं कहा ये भी सुनना, दिस साउंड सिमिलर, सुनना. We dance. अरे नाचो यार, अपने बच्चे के साथ नाचो यार, उसको उछलने दो सोफे पे, कोई तुम्हारा सोफा खराब नहीं होगा, ठीक करा लेंगे सोफा, पर ये मोमेंट वापस नहीं आएगा. लिव this act of kindness. Please be kind to your own self, and by that kind of yourself is please खुद को थोड़ा सा समय दीजिए. 5 minutes is enough.
I love that. Thank you for being an amazing mom. You're amazing. Thank you. Ashiish.
Well, I think 3 things, if at all. Some of them may overlap. I think first, which I've already spoken about, which is I think step 1 really in this journey is acceptance. I think एक fundamental चीज है, acceptance आपको करना जरूरी है. वो करिए, then it's only if you diagnose a situation, that's when you are able to kind of work with it, cope with it, handle it better, right? So I think step 1 is just really that. 2, I think definitely like, Kreeti mentioned, the me time. Or and this is true especially for moms, and at times it happens to dads as well. I'm guilty of that. कि मर्दों पे ये एक अजीब सा प्रेशर होता है that no, you have to be strong. तुम रो नहीं सकते. तुम्हें you have to maintain that, and at times you're probably not showing a few things. You're afraid to kind of express yourself, or at times you will take that backseat saying, the mom knows better. Or at times you'll be told that. And at times you may not be able to handle that, and you will shut off. You handle it at times by backing off, and that's stupid. So all of those things that you're dealing with, like I said, कि अगर जैसे प्लेन में कहते हैं, अगर किसी और की मदद करनी हो, पहले अपना ऑक्सीजन मास्क लगाना जरूरी है. Unless you don't take care of yourself, you can't help anyone else. So I think that me time, be it dancing on Sidhu Moosewala's Punjabi songs or Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, or whatever else it is, right, on a crappy rap song, but find your time to shop, to work out, to write, to swim. I mean, whatever it is that you do, or even if it's just sitting doing nothing. But I mean, your me time away from autism, away from everyone and everything else, for yourself, for me with you. It's important. It's so important. You must do that. The third thing, which I will definitely again share from experience, autism is hard. It's hard not only on many other things, it's hard on a relationship.
Yeah.
I know a lot of relationships and marriages do not survive autism. And it may not be to do with autism, but because you're like, you're on high alert always, right? So there are times, for example, when me and Sheetal are out on a date night, we're like, it's like after exams, there's a vacuum, right? अब मैं क्या करूँ? अब तो मैं free हूँ. अब मैं क्या करूँ? It's like you feel that. I mean, at times you feel guilty when you've taken a day trip away, just the two of us. But I know what it does for us, right? You come back rejuvenated, recharged, and it's really important that like बहुत पहले ये होता था कि हम लोग date night पे भी गए, बातें autism की हो रही है. बातें रिशान की हो रही है. अरे ये नई थेरेपी आई है. अच्छा अब ये नया जादू टोना आया है. ये ट्राई करते हैं. All kinds of things you'll try. Like I mean, hell, things that I would have laughed at of gemology, numerology. That's the kind of stuff that I've also said, hey, no harm. Let's try it out, right? And like I think Archana's called out over here, that acceptance is always a work in progress. I think that's so true. We are all working in progress people for life. But I think you got to definitely wrap your head around that and start on that journey. We need to keep denying that, that'll never happen. So that's why. 2, that me time for yourself, and 3, we time. Which keeps you stronger. Because ये और autism को outsource नहीं कर सकते. कुछ लोग होते हैं जो करते हैं, नैनी को दे दिया, टीचर को दे दिया, मैंने पैसे डाल दिए थेरेपी में. वो नहीं होगा. वो आपको साथ में करना, और वो अगर करना हो तो साथ में रहना, और वो जुड़ के करना. Not just your contribution can't be just the money. Your contribution can't be just like, you talk, I'm listening. You will have to pick up the load, share the load, as they say, and be together as a unit. And for that, you need to be together as a unit, or carve out that, like your time for, Sidhu Moosewala's crappy Punjabi songs. Actually, I love music, or Sukhbir or whatever. But find that time to go. I mean, strangely, me and Sheetal took up like a dance class, and I'm terrible. I think she was embarrassed by me. But I mean, it was great fun. So I think finding that time to do nothing, be it binge watching a show together or whatever else, we time is what the third thing is, what I'd add to it. Acceptance, me time, we time. End of gap.
That's beautiful. I love how you've stated that. That's excellent. Thank you. It is 7:45. I'm gonna close this out.
We've been talking an hour and a quarter.
As somebody, and I'll be very honest with you, to wrap this conversation up, in my lowest times of my life, kids on the spectrum have saved me and like pushed me out of any hard times that I was going through, just because of their sincerity, their honesty, their vigor in life. So my promise is I'm going to teach kids on the spectrum of autism until I die, but I'm also going to try, and I'm a writer in my personal life, but I'm going to dedicate all my advocacy work in the space of autism in India. That's kind of what got me to India. And I promise I'll organize at least one such conversation every month. I'll try to pull
that's beautiful, Devangana. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you for just being excellent parents. Thank you. I really respect you and appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Devangana. Thank you.
Thank you who joined in. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a lovely Friday night.
Thank you.
Bye.
You all take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lovely seeing you. Thank you so much for the chat.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Dance